For joining me today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. My name is Justin Strohmeyer. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admission at Willamette University, located in Salem, Oregon. I will be your direct contact for help throughout the admission process. I will read all of your applications and really want to be your partner in this process. I know that it can be a little bit overwhelming, and especially in a year like this. And so I want you to know that as you are exploring colleges, trying to find the right fit, and if you have already considered potentially spending the next 4 years in the beautiful Pacific Northwest and you want to learn more about Willamette, you can contact me directly and my information can be found on the website. I want to share just a little bit about the campus environment, about opportunities for students to get involved. Of course, we'll talk about our academic programs, and then we'll end by talking about the application process as well as scholarships and financial aid. But I also like to use these opportunities to make sure that I'm addressing the things that are most important to you in finding the right fit. I don't like to just provide a lot of facts and figures that you can read in a brochure or read on a website on your own time. So one of the first things I like to start with is talking about our location, because I think that that is one of the really distinctive parts of the Willamette experience. As I said, we're located in Salem, Oregon. Salem is really centrally located for folks that haven't spent much time in Oregon before. Salem is about an hour south of Portland. We're an hour from the coast, and we're an hour to the Cascade Mountains. So you really get to experience all of the beautiful natural landscape of the Willamette Valley. We're close to a city like Portland, which is Oregon's largest, but I like that we're a little bit removed from Portland. It's nice when there's something that you want to do, you can get there easily, but I like that Salem is not as congested, nor is it as expensive as Portland, yet you still have the proximity. Now, what makes Salem really unique in terms of the college environment is that Salem is the state capital. And as you can see in this photograph, the building in the foreground is one of our campus buildings. And just in the background there, you can see the state capitol. So it's literally across the street. There's no college in the country in such close physical proximity to its state capital as what we have at Willamette and in the Salem community. And so we really try to use the Capitol as an extension of our campus. It is a place for students to gain unique hands-on experience that they really could not get at any other college in the US. That doesn't mean that every student wants to get involved in politics and public policy, although many do pursue our major in policy and politics. Many students also pursue our pre-law track. But for students in all academic disciplines, you can get relevant experience at the Capitol. And when you think about the function of state government, you can really start to make those connections. If you're interested in business or economics, you can do internships with the Treasury Department. If you're interested in criminal justice, you can really explore the criminal justice system through the courts to corrections to law enforcement. If you're interested in the social sciences, maybe you want to major in psychology or sociology, all of the state social services are headquartered in Salem. And so state government really allows our students this breadth of experience for experiential learning that, again, is really unique, because we don't want you to just sit in a classroom for 4 years. We want you to use that classroom knowledge and build your resume and build your professional network. And I think that that's what makes our graduates really stand out after their 4 years is the hands-on experience that you have gained in addition to the amazing classroom experience that you've had. Your fun fact for the day is that Willamette is the oldest university in the West. We were founded in 1842, which is actually before Oregon, Washington, or California was even granted statehood. And so I think that pioneering spirit and that legacy of leadership is still very much at the core of the Willamette experience. Our students come into the university really wanting to make a lasting impact, and they don't just think about the 4 years they're going to spend with us, but they think well beyond what difference they can make for the next class of students and the next generation. And so I love that our students embrace that and really want to make that lasting difference for the university community and the greater Salem community. We're a small campus of only about 1,600 undergraduate students. That means that you're going to be in small classes where you really get to know your professors and your peers. I'll talk more about the relationship you have with your professors in a moment, but the information on this page really shares a little bit more of the outside the classroom experience and what you have to look forward to. You can see that our students are very engaged in the local community through volunteer work and community service. That's something that is really A hallmark of the Willamette experience, our students recognize that spending 4 years in Salem is not just about making connections to Willamette, but it is finding that home for 4 years. You want to embrace the local community and look for ways that you can make a difference. And so our students really embrace that. There are many ways to get involved in different clubs and organizations on campus in just about every interest area you can think of, whether they be social organizations, political organizations, religious, cultural, whatever it may be. You're going to find people that share the interests that you have, and you're going to find those like-minded individuals to pursue those passions with. And each semester we do big involvement fairs so that students can really shop around and see all the different organizations available to them and pick and choose what they want to get involved in. If anything, we have to tell our students to sometimes slow down. We certainly don't have to urge them, because our students definitely take on a lot of responsibility and just a lot of fun activity to really round out their college experience. Outdoor programs are very, very popular option for our students. Because of where we're located, our students are very engaged in both outdoor education and outdoor recreation. And so whether it is just signing up for one of our weekend excursions, doing one of our more longer trips in different parts of the Northwest, whether it be during the spring break or sometimes during extended weekends, that students will do longer excursions to really explore all of the natural landscape around the campus. Or even if it's just doing an afternoon hike, you can get to hiking trails in 10 minutes from campus. The university actually has its own forest that is owned and managed by the university, and it's a recreation space as well as a research space. And so that's one of many opportunities you have to engage with the outdoors. Of course, athletics are a popular option for students as well. We're NCAA Division III, and we compete in the Northwest Conference against other small schools in Oregon and Washington, and you can see the sports that we offer. For students that are interested in being a Division III college athlete, you can also contact me about that, and I'm happy to put you in touch with a coach, and you can talk more about the recruiting process. One of the key things with Division III sports is that you are awarded academic scholarships, not athletic scholarships. And so students who pursue Division III sports really come in with a dedication to the school that they're choosing, the academic and co-curricular experience that they want to have, while still having that great athletic outlet. And so I think it's a special opportunity to really, truly be a student athlete. You can also see the music and performing arts opportunities for our students. We have a really robust arts community, both on campus and in Salem. And so whether that's getting involved in music or theater, or potentially in our studio art programs, not only do you have a wonderful audience on campus who embraces the arts and wants to see your talent, but also the Salem community at large is very involved in our arts programs. And so you get a lot of great networking opportunities with local artists and performers. And then, excuse me, another thing that I'll draw your attention to on this slide is the geographic diversity of our student body. Diversity in general is a huge priority for the university, and we want to make sure that students who come to Willamette leave with a really strong appreciation for diversity and a really in-depth global perspective of the world around them, and are prepared to be contributors in that world. And I think that the national reach that Willamette has is definitely a differentiator. Compared to other small schools in Oregon and Washington, we really attract students from all over the country and all over the world. And I think that that enhances the classroom experience a great deal, because you know that the student sitting next to you and sitting across from you is going to bring a very different perspective and contribute to class in different ways because of where they've grown up and the school that they've gone to. And so I think it's really wonderful that first day of class that the student from Oregon and the student from California and the student from Washington, which are all very well represented on our campus, they might be sitting across from a student from Texas and a student from New York and a student from Minnesota, even a student from Tokyo. And so you know that each of you is going to have something different to contribute in those very discussion-based classes. And so we try to really intentionally shape that geographic diversity in our student body. You can also see some details here about the academic profile of our typical admitted students. With things like GPA and test scores, we focus on the middle 50%. That means that 25% of our students are above those numbers, 25% are below those numbers. And because we practice a holistic review process and application review, that means that there is no one set of numbers that tell us whether a student can or cannot be successful at Willamette. And we really consider all parts of your application. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Here's a list of all of the different academic programs that we offer at Willamette. You can see a really wide range. At our core, we are very focused on the liberal arts, and our core curriculum is going to make sure that you are well-rounded, you are a critical thinker, you're a strong communicator, and you are adaptable. We don't want to just train you to do one job for the rest of your life, but we want to prepare you for the curveballs that life may throw at you. And so while you will pick a major and potentially pick a combination of multiple majors, along with potentially having a minor or multiple minors, every student will be well-rounded and will have the skills you need to be successful in the real world. We know that students likely are going to change their academic interests or potentially change their career multiple times after they graduate from Willamette. And so we want to prepare you for that. A lot of students historically have gravitated towards our politics program, as I mentioned earlier, along with our economics program, our psychology program, our biology program. We're seeing a great deal of growth right now in all of our science, technology, engineering, and math related programs. So there's so much demand in the STEM field that a lot of students are gravitating towards those. But we maintain a lot of strength in our arts programs, as I mentioned before. So I like that we can really cover both ends of the spectrum. And regardless of your interests, you're gonna find a really wide range of offerings. Technically, every student comes into Willamette undecided. So you list your top 3 interests on your application, but you're not declaring a major. And actually, the earliest you can declare your major is after you've completed 1 semester of classes. But for many students, they wait until they're into their sophomore year. So we want you to have that chance to explore, because you're going to be exposed to subjects that you've never had access to before. And so it's hard to pinpoint exactly what you want to do. And really, the role of our faculty and our advisors is to help you connect the dots from what you're good at, what you're curious about, what you're passionate about, what your goals are, and figure out how to round out your 4-year experience with us to make sure that those goals are attainable. You'll see our average class size is only 17 students, so naturally you're going to build close relationships with your professors in class. But above and beyond that, we want our professors to be accessible to you outside of class. And one thing we've done to help foster that is what we call our academic hearths. And the hearths are student gathering spaces in the academic buildings that are dedicated to students in each major. So for example, if you're walking through the science building, you'll go past the physics hearth and the environmental science hearth and the biology hearth. And you'll see students that are gathered, maybe working on a group project, studying for a test, just having a discussion between class. And the great thing about the hearth setup is that the professor's offices surround that hearth. So that as you're having those discussions, a professor might chime in. Or as you're studying for a test and you reach a problem that you can't answer, you don't have to schedule an appointment for 2 weeks later. You simply walk down the hallway and say, hey, Professor so-and-so, I know this is going to be on Thursday's test. Can you help me? So we want you to continue to build those relationships in and out of class, because your professors ultimately become much more than just a teacher. They are an advocate. They're a mentor. They're a friend. They'll probably ask you to walk their dog. They'll probably ask you to house sit for them. You'll probably grab coffee with them outside of class, because they're going to make sure to challenge you and support you and make sure that you maximize your 4 years with us. You'll see that none of our classes are going to be large lecture style. They will all be taught by professors, and many of them are discussion based, so much so that we actually teach them in a conference room format so that you're surrounding a table rather than being sitting in rows with somebody talking at you. We want everybody making eye contact and engaging in that conversation. A couple other academic programs that I'll point out just to potentially have on your radar that are pretty innovative are our dual degree programs that allow you to earn both an undergraduate and a graduate degree all in one stretch at Willamette. These are in the areas of business through our 3+2 bachelor's MBA program, in law through our 3+3 bachelor's JD program, and through our data science department, which actually offers the first of its kind 3+1 BS MS in data science. So in all those instances, you get a jump start on getting a graduate degree, so you can be more efficient with your time and with your money, and potentially earn your bachelor's and your master's in business administration in 5 years, your bachelor's plus your law degree in 6 years, or a bachelor's and master's in data science in only 4 years. And so we know that a big part of your decision is going to be about finances, about maximizing your time. And so these are a few innovative ways that you might consider doing that. I've talked a couple of times already about internships, but this particular slide really emphasizes the way that we focus on experiential learning. All of our students are doing internships, research, or study abroad. Some of them are doing all 3. And we feel so strongly about this that we actually have the requirement that you have to do experiential learning to earn your degree. And it can be through either of those three pathways. It can be through internships, through research, or through study abroad, or potentially all of the above. So for an internship, it might be a connection you make just by sharing with a professor your passion and the type of experience you're trying to gain, and they will connect you with their network so that you can earn that internship. Or potentially it's a company or an organization that's recruiting interns on our campus, and we help connect you with that. The research, it could be by conducting your own original research or potentially collaborating with a faculty member on research that they're conducting. And with study abroad, I really encourage students to explore our study abroad options, mainly because it's my biggest regret from college that I did not do it. And what a cool time of your life to be able to see the world and earn college credit for it. And we have a whole team of study abroad advisors to help you find the right program in the right place at the right time to fit into your 4-year plan. You might choose a study abroad program based on a region of the world you want to explore. Or maybe you choose one that's directly linked with your major, that's giving you a unique experience that you can never get from a class or from a textbook. Maybe you choose a study abroad program based on a language that you want to learn or that you want to further your skills in. But just know that you'll have a resource to help you navigate that. And the great thing with our study abroad programs as well is that your financial aid and scholarships can cover that time while you're abroad. So really, for the majority of students that are participating in study abroad, it's not costing them anything extra, and it fits right into their 4-year plan. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, finances are a big part in finding the right college fit. And so this page will really highlight some of the important things to take into account. The first number I'll draw your attention to is that one at the top, the $111,000. That is the mid-career salary of a Willamette graduate. That is a higher mid-career salary than any other college graduates at any other universities in the state of Oregon. So not only do our students get great jobs out of college, but it is the earning potential and the upward mobility that you have that I think really sets our students apart. And that goes back to what we were talking about with the academic programs and our goal to make you well-rounded and adaptable. The next number you'll see is our annual tuition, but I never want people to stop at that number. I want you to look at the next number. That $37,000 is the average financial aid package. So if you're looking at private institutions, you probably know by now that the sticker price is often higher at private institutions compared to public, but the actual out-of-pocket price can be equivalent or even lower than public institutions because we can offer more generous financial aid and scholarship packages. So it's important to know how to navigate this process in making an informed choice. You want to make sure that you know what the sticker price looks like, certainly, but when you're awarded your scholarships and financial aid, what you're really looking for is what is that annual out-of-pocket cost and what is the actual 4-year investment going to cost me? Because of course, at a private institution, you're more likely to graduate in 4 years compared to a public institution where it may take 5 or even more. So when you really think about the total investment you're making to get your bachelor's degree, you want to make sure that you have all the facts in front of you. And oftentimes a private institution can be more affordable, and we don't want that sticker price to ever be intimidating. You're automatically considered for our merit scholarships just by applying for admission. You'll find out about your merit scholarship at the same time you find out about admission. So there's no waiting in suspense, and you'll know right up front, congratulations, you're in, and here's how much you've been offered in merit scholarships. Of course, if you're going to apply for need-based financial aid, make sure you list Willamette on your FAFSA or a FAFSA equivalent so that we can evaluate your family financial situation and compare that to our cost of attendance to see if you qualify for federal financial aid or our own institutional need-based financial aid. On top of all that, we have a number of competitive scholarships that do require an extra application. But to be considered for these can be stacked onto your merit package. And so if you're interested in any of the competitive scholarships you see listed, you can actually check a box on your common application and say, I'd like to be considered for this. And then we'll send you information about what that application process looks like. For something like art, you submit a portfolio. For something like theater or music, you go through an audition process. The great thing with those is that you don't have to be majoring in those areas. They're really based on your talent that you earn a scholarship, but you can still choose whatever major you like at Willamette. In areas like public health, STEM, or environmental science, those do have a major requirement. You'd have to be in one of the majors associated with those various scholarships. And then for debate, it's simply being a participant on our debate team. You don't have to have formal debate experience to potentially qualify for that debate scholarship. But if you plan to be an active member of the debate team in college, you could maintain that scholarship. So there's a number of different ways to help finance your education, and just know that we're always willing to have those conversations to help you navigate that process. We are really fortunate right now to be open for in-person instruction, and that also allows us to be open for in-person visits. We know that this is a challenging time to travel to colleges, but we also know that that is part of your research, that you want to see what the campus feels like. Get a feel for the vibe, and oftentimes it's just stepping foot on a campus helps you narrow down whether it is or is not a good fit for you. And so we do hope that you're able to come and visit campus at some point, especially as seniors. Whether it's this fall or in the spring, we really do hope that you're able to come connect and see what a day in the life is like for a Willamette student. Of course, we're doing a lot of virtual programming and we're accessible virtually, but hopefully we get the chance to meet in person on campus at some point during this year. Now, some important dates to be aware of in terms of the application process. I mentioned earlier that our application is through the Common App. That is the exclusive application platform that we use. And so if you've already started a Common App, or if you're planning to start a Common App, simply adding Willamette to your list will only ask you a couple of additional questions. There's no fee to add Willamette to your list, and we do not require any supplemental essays. So it's a really simple process to add Willamette to your Common App, and then simply provide us with official transcripts and a counselor recommendation. We are going to really emphasize our application review on your transcript. We look at not only what your grades are, but also the classes you've selected, how you've challenged yourself to be as prepared as possible for college curriculum, and really looking at you within the context of your school. What does your school offer, and how are you taking advantage of those offerings? The next thing I really focus on is your essay. Not only using it to get to know you and to hopefully hear your voice shine through, but also evaluating your skills as a writer. So definitely, having a lot of proofreaders and really taking time to compose a strong essay is going to be important. That'll just be one of the standard Common App essays. As I mentioned, we don't have an extra essay for Willamette. I mentioned recommendations. We like to see 2 academic references typically, a counselor and a teacher. The counselor recommendation is required. The teacher recommendation is optional, but I would recommend doing both. Having 2 people that can really speak to your academic ability tells us a lot. The activities section of your Common App is another really important piece because it allows you to highlight all of your outside the classroom passions and interests. That's not just formal school involvement, but that could be part-time work. That could be care for a family member around the house. It could be any number of things, but it really helps us see who you are outside of class. So utilize that activity section. And then you'll notice that I haven't mentioned test scores. We are test optional, and we've been test optional for quite a number of years. So just know that that is not an extra hurdle this year or any year for students that want to apply to Willamette. If you choose to provide test scores, that is fine, but we're not going to be using test scores in our application review or our scholarship decisions. So don't feel any pressure there. If you want to apply in our early round, you have the option of both early action and early decision, and that deadline is November 15th. So if you're working on applications now and you want to get a decision from us as quickly as possible, consider submitting your application by November 15th. If you're not quite ready yet, you're still doing research, or maybe you really want to make sure that your senior grades this first semester is included before you apply, you could choose regular decision, which is a January 15 deadline. If you're unsure, just let me know and we can talk through what pathway is best for you. But students that apply by either of these deadlines, you can see when you'll typically hear from us. We want to get you an answer as quick as possible so that then you can make an informed choice. As I said, you'll have your financial aid and scholarship information, and then you have time to finalize your research, make a final choice by May 1st of senior year, and just know that we'll be here every step of the way to help you navigate that. There's a lot of information we shared today. Again, my name is Justin Strohmeyer. You can find my contact information on our website or potentially watch for messages that will come from me and we can interact directly and I'll happily answer any questions you have. I'm available if you'd like to schedule an interview. We do not require them as a part of the admission process, but they can be a really helpful way to get to know one another. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you again for joining me today and good luck with the rest of your fall.
Well, thank you, Justin, for that. That was amazing and knowledgeable information for our students. Again, this information will be posted on our college and career website tomorrow, so they can find your information.